Imagine your dog meeting two strangers. Both smile. Both crouch down. Both speak in a soft, friendly voice. Both hold out a gentle hand. Yet your dog walks confidently toward one person and hesitates, almost imperceptibly, before approaching the other. No barking, no growling, no obvious fear, just a pause. Most people barely notice that tiny moment. It lasts less than a second. But inside that silence, your dog has already begun answering one of the most important questions they ever ask. Am I safe here? The surprising part is that this decision has very little to do with appearance, expensive clothes, cheerful words, or even whether someone claims to love dogs. Before your dog responds to your smile, before they react to your voice, before the first tail wag, they are quietly reading something far older than language. Your nervous system. Dogs have lived beside humans for thousands of years. During that time, they didn't survive because they understood every word we spoke. They survived because they became extraordinary observers of what humans couldn't hide. The tiny changes in breathing, the tension held in shoulders, the rhythm of footsteps, the way someone enters a room, the emotional atmosphere surrounding a person before a single interaction even begins. Most of us never realize these signals exist. Dogs notice them instantly. And once you begin seeing the world through your dog's perspective, you'll discover that trust isn't something they choose emotionally. It's something they feel biologically. Today, we're exploring the invisible process behind that feeling. And by the end of this episode, you may never watch your dog greet another person the same way again. Trust begins long before affection. Humans often believe trust grows from experience. We get to know someone. We observe them. We judge their character. Only then do we decide whether they deserve our confidence. Dogs work almost in reverse. Experience certainly strengthens trust over time, but the very first decision happens much earlier. It begins with the body. When your dog encounters someone new, they aren't mentally asking, "Is this person kind?" They're asking, "Does this body feel safe?" That may sound almost too simple, yet biology has always favored simple questions. For wild animals, survival depends on making quick decisions before danger becomes obvious. Waiting for proof can be fatal. So evolution designed dogs to notice subtle consistency instead of dramatic events. The pace of movement, the rhythm of breathing, whether muscles appear relaxed or quietly preparing for action, whether someone's attention feels scattered or grounded. These details form a picture long before personalities enter the conversation. That's why two people behaving almost identically can receive completely different reactions. Your dog isn't comparing manners. They're comparing regulation. And regulation is much harder to fake. Your dog is listening to a conversation you can't hear. Every room has two conversations happening. One uses words, the other doesn't. Humans become so focused on language that we often ignore everything underneath it. Dogs do the opposite. They pay attention to the silent conversation first. Imagine someone saying, "You're okay." Their voice sounds gentle. Their smile seems warm. But inside, they're anxious. Their breathing is shallow. Their shoulders remain tight. Their movements hesitate ever so slightly. To another person, these differences might go unnoticed. To your dog, they tell the entire story. Dogs evolved alongside humans, but they never depended on understanding our vocabulary. Instead, they became astonishing readers of emotional coherence. When your body and your emotions tell the same story, dogs relax. When those stories conflict, dogs become curious. Not fearful, not judgmental, simply observant. Because inconsistency has always deserved another look. This is why calm cannot be performed. It has to be genuine. Real calm creates predictable movement. Predictable movement creates safety. Safety opens the door to trust. Before we continue, think about someone your dog seemed to adore almost instantly. What made that connection feel different? Share your experience in the comments. Every dog's story reveals something fascinating about how they perceive the world. The pause most humans never notice. Watch your dog closely the next time someone unfamiliar approaches. Not the tail, not the bark. Watch the pause. Sometimes it's only half a second. A tiny shift of weight, a slower blink, one extra breath before moving forward. That pause isn't uncertainty. It's observation. Dogs are collecting information at incredible speed. In nature, predictable things rarely require constant attention. Unpredictable things always do. That's why sudden excitement can sometimes make a friendly person feel less approachable than someone who quietly enters the room. Your dog isn't avoiding enthusiasm. They're simply waiting for rhythm. Once rhythm appears, once movements become steady, their own nervous system begins matching that rhythm. Without anyone realizing it, regulation is spreading between two living beings. Scientists call this emotional regulation. Dog owners often call it chemistry. They're describing the same phenomenon. Why some people feel safe instantly. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to attract dogs wherever they go? Interestingly, many of them aren't trying particularly hard. They don't constantly call the dog's name. They don't clap. They don't offer exaggerated excitement. Instead, they remain comfortably present. Their breathing stays slow. Their posture remains open. Nothing about them demands immediate attention. Dogs often find this incredibly reassuring. Because stability is easier to predict than excitement. Think about the people who make you feel calm. Chances are they don't constantly perform confidence. They simply have it. Dogs recognize that same quiet steadiness. And that's often why they choose someone who barely interacts with them over someone making every effort to earn affection. Trust isn't won through intensity. It's invited through consistency. If you're enjoying exploring the hidden psychology behind your dog's everyday behavior, consider subscribing. Every episode uncovers another invisible layer of the bond we share with our dogs, one that often goes unnoticed until we slow down enough to see it. Why your dog sometimes trusts a stranger more than someone they already know. This can be one of the most confusing experiences for dog owners. A visitor arrives. Within minutes, your dog curls up beside them. Meanwhile, someone they've known for years receives only polite distance. It feels personal, but it rarely is. Dogs don't keep emotional scorecards the way humans do. They're constantly updating their sense of safety. Someone familiar can become emotionally unpredictable after a stressful day. Someone completely new may arrive, carrying remarkable calm. Your dog notices today's nervous system more than yesterday's relationship. Trust isn't fixed. It's continually renewed. That's one of the most beautiful lessons dogs quietly teach us. Every interaction is another opportunity to create safety. Strength doesn't create trust. Many people still believe dogs naturally respect dominance. Yet when we watch secure dogs closely, something different appears. They don't seek loud authority. They seek stability. True confidence rarely announces itself. It doesn't rush. It doesn't force. It doesn't need to control every situation. Stable people leave room for others to breathe. Dogs respond remarkably well to that emotional space. Because emotional safety isn't created by power. It's created by predictability. The quiet confidence that says, nothing dangerous is happening here. When a dog feels that message, vigilance slowly fades. Curiosity replaces caution. Then connection quietly follows. Looking at your dog and yourself differently. Understanding this changes the questions we ask. Instead of wondering, why doesn't my dog like this person? Perhaps we begin asking, what is my dog quietly sensing that I haven't noticed? Sometimes it's another person's tension. Sometimes it's our own. Sometimes it's simply the natural rhythm between two nervous systems that either settles or doesn't. Dogs don't judge. They don't analyze personalities. They don't pretend comfort because social etiquette demands it. They trust what their body honestly experiences. And perhaps that's something humans have slowly forgotten how to do. We often ignore our instincts. We explain away discomfort. We convince ourselves everything is fine. Dogs rarely make that mistake. Their bodies remain honest. Maybe that's one reason their trust feels so meaningful. It's never given out of obligation, only through genuine safety.